we're getting off on his exit. He's like, yo, dude, you want Subway? He's like, I'm all set, thanks. He's like, no, man, they're open 24 hours. You want Subway? I said, no, I'm okay. Again, the Subway's open 24 hours. You want to go? I was like,
forcing a sandwich.
Do you want a Subway sandwich? He's like, no, I'm just making sure that you don't. And I'm like, I'm good. He's like, okay, you say so.
What is that commercial? The
We have a rescue dog too.
ASPCA where it's Sarah McLachlan.
I will remember you. I have to turn the commercial.
I do too. It's too sad.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. It is.
And the animal's actually crying on the video.
Yeah. Did you stab him with a pen to make him cry? I'm like, how is that animal? How is that dog have tears?
So it was a party favor from a bachelorette party. You can only imagine what shape it was in.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was very phallic in shape. And
pink.
And very pink. And it was a straw.
Which I didn't know that. Which is so weird.
It's just a thing.
It's huge. Like, it didn't look like a straw. Like, it's sitting there.
It was very... Yeah. So
it was huge. All right, guys, welcome to GR Rideshare Adventures podcast and live stream. We're super happy to be here. Hi, everybody. We got Jesper and we got Gabe. Nick, who knows? I think he had kid issues. Not issues, but wife's working. And Ben came down with a terrible migraine today. So we don't have our producer, Ben, so bear with us if things go awry.
It's not going to be nearly as good as normal.
No, it's not. I mean, it's nice to have someone on all that crap, so I don't have to worry about it. So, where are we at here? So we did introductions. Gabe's been here. Was this your third time?
Third time.
Third time. Cool. And Jesper, you're just part of the OG.
I've been there several times now. Yeah.
Yeah. So first thing I want to do is I wanted to give you guys a heads up about Experience GR. I know we had talked about it before. I actually took the class on Monday. It was 4 hours, or a little shy of 4 hours. It was really fun. It's something that you would be interested in, especially for full-time drivers. It's basically a certified tourism ambassador. So it sounds pretty fancy, but it's really cool. I learned a ton of stuff about just being a better host of the city that you're living in. It doesn't have to be just Grand Rapids. So I'll give you a fun fact. Now people can see it on the video. So it's rude in some countries to point, like if you're giving directions, to point like this. I don't know where this is from her, so don't quote me on this. And to use your hand. So the recommended is to use your two fingers like this. Let me point like this. Could you guess where this comes from? Like this motion with the two fingers.
Flight attendants use it.
They do, actually. Mm-hmm. It comes from Walt Disney World. And if you ever been to Disney World or Disneyland, they all point like this. And the reason they do that, because Walt Disney used to smoke cigarettes. And he would do this. He would point, go do this, go do this, go do this. That's pretty funny, huh?
Interesting.
That's kind of a fast fact.
That'd be a nice way to kind of start an introduction.
Right.
In the car.
So we have a podcast in the bank about Experience GR, and we're going to pair with them, and they're going to offer that class at half or less, more than half.
I don't know what the deal was, but
I think it's $35 a class. They're going to offer it for $15. Okay. So pretty cool
for rideshare drivers, right?
For rideshare drivers, yeah. It's they usually do it once a month, so I don't know. We're going to work out some coupon code and share it, and so I think the full-time drivers should take full advantage of it. I mean, you get a little pin and a huge booklet of information that has all cool stuff about the city.
The big thing they were talking about is how it actually improves your tips.
Yes.
I mean, it totally is going to improve how you get.
If you can tell somebody where to go and what to do and just have that knowledge in the back of your head, which you probably have a ton of it
That's probably why my rating is, because I had a guy the other day, he's like, how do you know all of this? And I'm like, it's good to know your city when you have people that are coming in from all over.
Yeah, your rating is amazing. And you know a lot and you do a lot of research.
That's the key, right? It's the research. I mean, I still wish sometimes I had the book that you have with all the information and all the stuff. And I mean, there's times where I just want to reach out and say, hey, Gabe, what's going on tonight? Right. Because you will know.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you just spend your time. You don't actually have a book.
No. I take a couple hours and I go on and I look at all of the events, make a calendar. I go to Yelp.
Okay.
And pull up Yelp and talk about, because everybody, when they come in, they're like, yeah, on Yelp I saw. I'm like, oh yeah, definitely go there. I had a lady once, I was taking her to the airport and she said, I was looking for like secondhand shops. Like I wanted to do some antique shopping, but my driver couldn't tell me where to go. I'm like, oh, there's this whole street, and she's like, why didn't I have you like 2 days ago?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know.
And that's why your tips, and that's kind of what the Experience GR does. And for people that are listening that aren't from Grand Rapids, they have CTA programs all over the country.
Right.
So just Experience GR is kind of the, what would you call it?
It's the Visitors Bureau of Grand Rapids. And,
yeah.
And they are the ones maintaining the program here
Correct.
locally.
Yep,
and
exactly.
it's the same in all the other markets that you guys are in. I think there's even a website, America's CTA or something like that.
Yeah.
I forget what it was, but you can look it up. It's a national program,
Yep.
and likely there'll be some body in your market that'll control it.
Yeah. And when you become a CTA, they give you a booklet with a ton of coupons in it, and you can go online and get half off on a lot of restaurants and stuff like that just for being a CTA. Now, you do have to renew every year, and you have to get points like credit, but going to a restaurant and you just log it in, that gives you points towards your renewal.
Gotcha, okay.
So it's like $15 to renew.
So what does CTA stand for? I forget.
Certified Tourism Ambassador.
That's right.
Yep.
So the ambassadorship, yeah.
Yep. Look for that coming out soon. And again, we're going to pair up with them. Next, I want to ask and beg for your review on iTunes, and I'm willing to give you free stuff if you do. We're working on a store, and we don't have it live yet. Well, it's live, but it's not there yet. But go to iTunes, subscribe, review, rate, send us all the information that you did it. I'll give you a free T-shirt, a coffee mug, a sticker, whatever you want. Let me know. I mean, within reason.
One item.
Yeah, one item. Yeah. Don't show me your cart and there's $450 in there, because that ain't happening. So this is this business is making no money. We are definitely not profitable.
Yeah.
So not yet. Yeah. So this is going to be a quick segment. We're going to talk about driving. I have not driven in 2 weeks. And Jesper one day, I think.
Yep, one day.
And then Gabe, well, you're a full-time driver, so.
Yeah.
Before you get into too deep, I just want to acknowledge one thing, and it was just I'm just following along here on Facebook, and
I appreciate that.
There's a couple of quick comments. There's a couple of people who was talking about wanting this for ASL and particularly for people who is hard of hearing. And so we're going to look into that, guys. Damien and Tom, we're going to try and look into what is involved with getting this program into something that has automatic.
They're our live stream?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there's something out there.
Yep. So we'll look into that, and we'll have an update at least next time. So thank you for that. Great suggestions.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I never would have thought about that. So
there's a lot of deaf drivers.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, we'll look into that. I can tell you right now, I have no idea how to do it, but we'll figure it out.
Absolutely.
And maybe it won't happen on the live stream, but at the replay, it might be able to happen. So yeah, we haven't driven. You don't have any. Were you on just 2 weeks ago? I can't keep it straight.
Cindy here.
Yeah, Cindy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we talked about your crazy Chicago trip, and but it's just been low key, right? That's what you were saying.
Pretty low key, calm.
That's good. I mean,
nothing too crazy. Halloween was pretty.
You haven't taken any long trips since that Chicago one?
Roscommon.
Where the heck is that?
Like West Branch, like north, like 100
North of
miles
Detroit?
from like Mackinac.
Oh, West Branch. Yeah, I know where West Branch.
Yeah,
Whoa.
Roscommon, yeah.
So what was this? I always want to know the stories behind those.
I got the request. Airport? Airport. No long trip notification.
So is that getting less and less, you think? Because I would say 9 out of 10 I would get the notification, but there'd be that one time where I wouldn't get it.
It's the second one I've had in 2 weeks. It was over 45 minutes. No.
Well, that's way over 45 minutes. That's like 3 hours.
2.5, yeah.
2.5.
It was a long drive.
Okay.
But no notification. He pops in the car and he's like, "You ready?" And I was like,
And you're like,
"Oh."
oh.
I'm like,
This was at the airport?
"Yeah."
Okay.
And I wasn't planning on taking. I did an appointment for my daughter, and I was like, give me a moment." I said, "Let me see." So I worked something out. Had a friend take her, and
Okay.
I was like, "Okay, I can take you." He was like, "Thank you." He worked for a dealership who bought cars all over the United States that
And
he
then
would
drive
fly to them and then drive it
them
back.
Okay.
And they never see the car. They buy it online.
Really?
They cut him a certified check. He brings it, picks it up, and drives it
I always
back.
thought that would be a fun job, right?
Yeah.
Just because we like to drive.
Hopefully the car drives when you get
Well, that's
there.
what I said to
Wow.
him. I go, "You're good to go, right? Because I got to go back."
Yeah, I'm
And
not
he
waiting
was
around.
Like, "Yeah, I'm good." I'm like, "All right."
Yeah, I think that's a good job for retired people. I think it's just, well, it's kind of Uber and Lyft is too.
Yep.
Daytime driving,
Yeah.
just chilling, and you usually don't have too much drama.
Yeah,
So-
he was retired. He talked about how he liked cars, so that's why he did it. He rebuilt cars. He has
Okay.
a big pole barn with 7 cars in it.
Oh,
Nice.
geez.
Yeah, it was a good conversation.
So he's an older guy then, right?
Older guy,
So
yeah.
he's probably retired.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah, he was a giant. He said, yeah. Very
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to jump right into rideshare in the news. And the first thing up, and I don't know a lot about it. I know Gabe read it. I read what you sent to me, but there's a new thing called Uber Pro. I'm going to click on this link. This is more just kind of a quick synopsis. And I'm going to just read this real quick. Uber drivers who maintain high ratings and low cancellation rates can earn rewards like increased take-home pay, free college tuition through Uber's new rewards program, Uber Pro. It's part of a broader effort by the ride-hailing company to improve relations with its drivers. Blah, blah, blah. Uber Pro divides drivers into 4 categories: Partner, Gold, Platinum, and Diamond. Drivers in the Partner category need to maintain a 4.85 rating. I think you even got that, Jesper.
I do. 4.88.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
And a cancellation rate of 4%. To gain status, they must earn points on every trip during a fixed 3-month period. And the points they earn in one period go to unlocking status. So one thing it doesn't mention is the acceptance rate. That has to be what? 80? Didn't you say something? Oh, crap. I put you on the spot. I'm sorry.
No, hold on. I have it pulled up here.
Yeah, I remember when I initially looked at it, I'm like, that's the key, is going to be the acceptance rate. They have to have a level of that. Otherwise,
Yeah, it's under. So the email that they sent out to everybody, it'll say here, and it's highlighted. You can't click on it.
yeah. So,
So
where
if
do
you-
you find it?
If you go through your Uber app and you click on your profile picture where they send you notifications, you can click on that and actually go into it.
Okay.
And you actually have to dig. So they give you a chart, that breaks it down like, basic, pro, depending on which one you're at.
Right.
So when you start going through each of them, it's on C, trip, and direction. Maintain an 85% acceptance rate to enjoy this reward.
85, I mean, obviously ours are terrible, but
Right.
that's not too high. I mean, you could still skip a few and be okay. But do you think it's going to be worth it? I mean, just on your first glance of it, is it going to be worth those perks?
I think it would be, depending on what else you get with it. But I see it like it as a way for them to control. Like, they can't control you now with your acceptance rate.
Right.
Your cancellation rate, if you're canceling a lot, yeah, they can be like, look, you're not really doing anything for us. So,
Right.
We can go out and put an ad and get like 20 drivers to click on it.
Right.
But they could never fire you before.
Right.
So now it's like, hey, they found like a loophole to control, like, hey, we want you want these benefits,
Right.
these things that you asked for. Well, now you have to do this.
Well, Lyft beta tested that for a while. If you maintain a high percentage rate, they didn't pay you anymore, but you got to see.
Yeah, you got to see where they were going.
Right.
Yeah.
But the numbers you ran by me, I think the highest one was like 6% more, right? I think. And I'm not trying not to put you on the spot.
No,
but-
it's up to 5% cash. Well, it depends. You get 6% extra on time and distance rates. And then you get cash back on gas.
Yep.
And then if you go to certain gas stations, you get a little bit more.
Yeah, this says the rewards include cash back on fuel purchases, discounts on vehicle maintenance, and free 24/7 roadside assistance. Mm-hmm. Drivers that achieve platinum and diamond status qualify for increased 3% and 6%, respectively, on time and distance rates. Yeah. So I mean, that's what we get paid on anyways, just not the base rate. We don't get the extra on, which whatever. I wonder if that applies to surge too. I assume it would. Oh, and faster airport pickups.
Yeah, it does say that you would with diamond though. So you have to be the top.
Diamond's the top or platinum's the top?
Or hold on, no, partner, gold, platinum, diamond. So everybody's partner, which is the blue,
the base,
and then gold, platinum, and diamond.
Oh,
so
yeah,
diamond is the highest.
Here it is, right here. What a dummy.
Yep. So you have to have that.
Oh, sorry.
Don't. Oh, yeah. See, that's offensive. See, you learned something.
Yeah, it just says for a faster airport that once you drop off a rider, you'll have a higher chance of getting a pickup at the terminal.
See, I like that. That would be worth the diamond for me. Just that airport one. We don't get Quest, so that doesn't matter.
Yeah, like free dent repair.
So when is this supposed to start?
It's just beta testing in like 6 different cities right now.
Okay.
Gabe had said some of the cities, all the drivers, some of the cities, select drivers. So lights flickering tonight.
So it'll be like 2.5 years before it gets.
Yeah. What was the 180? No, I think they did the 180 days in the 180 days, right? I think.
Yeah.
There was something though that they were. Oh, what? Yeah, I know what it was. Is the stupid beacon or whatever that we were supposed to get. They were talking about that year.
That one,
yeah.
No, they still have it.
No,
they have it in different markets.
Huh.
But it was supposed to come here. So
And they will do it for Uber Eats too.
what? The beacon?
No, the Uber Pro.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Interesting.
well, not enough.
Yeah.
Not interesting.
Yeah. All drivers in Chicago, New Orleans, Phoenix, and Seattle.
Okay.
And then randomly selected drivers in Denver, New Jersey, Orlando, and Tampa Bay.
Okay.
So
Florida gets 2 bastards. Any chatter about the Uber Pro online? I'm not sure.
yeah,
Nothing.
somebody posted something earlier.
I was talking to Jesper.
Nope, not really.
Okay.
Not really.
I was just curious.
Yep.
All right. Let us jump ahead. I before we jump ahead though, this is huge. I mean, this could change things. And a lot of articles we talk about tonight with Uber, I think they're pushing them because of the IPO. They're trying to increase their value or their perception that their value, because everything we talk about, the end of the article says Uber is trying to do this for their IPO. So whether all these come true, I don't know. So I'm just throwing that out there. This is just. I mean,
you know what I like is it seems like they're finally getting off their behinds and trying to add more value.
Yeah.
More than just provide the ride, which was great for a long time. But they need to start reinventing themselves and adding more value to it as well.
Yeah, because I mean, 6%. I mean, it adds up.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially if you're a full-time driver. Now, you only get that. Correct me if I'm wrong. If during those 3-hour blocks, right, or those blocks of time, it's not like
those blocks of times are how your points,
bonuses.
Your points. No, everything's based on points.
Okay.
So you have to drive. If you pull it up, there's the calendar where it shows the groups of time.
Oh, no.
And that is where you get I think it's 3 points.
Okay.
Because everything's based on points and it tells you the period. So like November through I think January is 1 block.
Yeah, it'd be 3-month period
and
every quarter.
That's how they're starting it.
Okay.
November.
Okay.
And then you earn your points.
But those blocks of time that I saw on the calendar
are more points.
So you earn your points regardless anytime, but during those blocks you actually earn more.
Correct.
Okay.
And your points are based off even ratings.
Oh.
So yeah, that was in the article.
Man, we'll have to come back in 2 weeks when we record after we know a little bit more about it. But yeah, Gabe's like, "Did you get that email like 3 hours ago?" He sent me that. I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Oh, I guess I did." So sorry, we don't know a ton about it, but we'll double back in a couple weeks.
Very new. Yep.
Update about the airport queue. This is for our Grand Rapids listening audience. They were moving the queue, or they haven't moved it. The cell phone lot and the soon-to-be rideshare lot has been moved. Ben is working on a photo to kind of show where it is, because I guess it is kind of far back. I haven't driven it myself because it can't be in the queue back there. So it has not moved. The pickup is still at Wendy's. The queue is
for now.
For now.
But the new one is the old cell phone lot, just doubled in size.
Oh, in the back, that was the old cell phone lot?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. I never really picked any.
As you came up on what's the name of the
What is that?
street?
What is that
Yeah.
name?
But as you come up there,
44th Street.
Yeah.
Let's just call it that.
well, no, it's coming into the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the right side of that, I forget the name of that. So coming on the right side.
We'll just call it 44th because that's
sure. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that. So
Thank
on the
you.
right side of that, as you get into it, after you pass Patterson,
right.
in there to the right is the cell phone lot.
And then it's all the way in the back by like the Hertz car rental, right?
No. It's as you enter into the airport on the right side there, right, pretty much right after you come in from the Patterson. That's what the old cell phone ladder is, and that's the one that's doubled in size.
Okay, you're confusing me and probably whoever's listening. Are we turning off Patterson?
You're talking about the pickup spot.
No. So you pull into the airport
On
you're
44th.
off 44th and Patterson.
Yep.
Make that left or right, whatever, straight ahead.
Right.
You go to, as you're coming into the airport,
Yep.
to the first turn,
On your right.
turn. Yep. You go in there,
Yep.
and then you go to the right, and it's right there. So, like, here's the airport, right?
Oh, it's not all the way in the back?
No.
Why were people saying it was all the way in the back?
That's
Maybe
the pickup spot.
maybe
That's what
the
they want.
back.
They want you to push to pick up by the rental. So that's going to be the new official pickup spot.
Oh, you mean we pick up passengers over there?
Yeah, by that door 4, what they do today. That's what they wanted to pick them up there. But
How are they
But
going to
the other
get
one is the
passengers
lock.
over there?
I don't. I'm saying right by the way they pick up today on door 4 across from the rental, not the Hertz one, the rental. Out
Oh, I apologize. There's another Hertz rental in the back.
no,
by
that's
the-
not it.
Okay. Well, clearly I don't know anything, and Jesper's confusing me. So
Well, I think it's
Nothing
still
new there.
I think it's still confusing at the airport in general with where you pick up at, because I've had people tell me that the airport people have told them to go out the first door and go right across where Lyft drops the pin
yes.
to pick them up there.
So when I talked to Lisa Experience GR, that is the correct pickup spot, and there's going to be signage with the new deal that they're working with Uber.
So door 1, not door 4.
Right.
It's going to be right when you come into the commercial lane, those first 4 or 5 spots that no one ever parks there.
So why does Uber? If nobody's saying it, Uber will say door 4.
Yeah, I don't know. But
But I think that's what they're working on with Uber in their negotiations.
yes.
Okay.
And she said that it does come with some signage. Like it literally will say Uber pickup or Lyft pick or Rideshare pickup.
Can you imagine though, that 4 or 5 spots, right? And then there's the stop sign with the walkway
And the shuttle.
and then the shuttle. There are times at night when they have 10
yeah.
flights in and you've got 10 cars lined up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to. I mean, but that happens by door 4 too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
But you have that whole length of
to find a spot.
to find a spot.
That's true. I think. Woo! There goes your tablet. I think. I think I'll just do the same thing. If that's the pickup, and there's no spots, I'll just keep on driving until I find a spot. So
Right. I think the key here is just to go back to, at this point, the queue has not moved.
correct.
The queue is still behind the Wendy's,
Yep.
and we will be notified by the airport in a public release
Yeah.
when they're ready.
Yeah. My guess is I'll hear it from Lisa Experience GR first, but
Sure.
it'll come from the airport to them. So
And as soon as we know more, guys, we'll let you know. So again, and that's another good way, a good reason for you guys to like our Facebook page, because we will post it there
yeah.
when we know more.
And it's a negotiation, like it's a contract. So it's not like they just flip a switch. They have to work out some sort of deal or
Right.
something. I don't know.
I think it's just because the airport doesn't want Uber to do the surge like other airports.
Yeah, we did talk about that, didn't we?
Yeah.
But I mean, why not? I guess what's the
Because Lyft can. So I guess why
Yeah, it must
don't
be
they
Uber.
want Uber?
They just probably because it's Dutchtown, Grand Rapids, Michigan.
But
and
if you really look at it, though, there is some quote unquote unfairness to it, right? Because how can you not search if you like? Let's say there's three flights coming in at the exact same time. It's going to search.
yeah,
I mean, because
But what's different than any other large city across America?
Oh, no, I know.
That it surges at.
I'd be interested to do a survey online to find out if every other one does, and ours is just an exception, or if it's just whatever the airport decides to work out with Uber.
sure.
Next up, car insurance. We won't spend a lot of time in this, but one of the drivers in the Grand Rapids group was involved in an accident, and he's pulling his hair out. I saw some things about that, but Insurance is so complicated.
Well, the first question, did he have the extra rideshare rider?
He did, but this is with a passenger, so it doesn't apply at this point.
Correct.
But I do want to sit down with him after he's done going through it and interview him about it, just to see, how terrible it was.
The process, yeah.
The process. Because how useful will that be? We talked earlier to Steve, the chances of you getting, we talk about texting and driving, right? We all do it, let's face it. And it's, what do you say? It's 20 times more likely that you're going to get in an accident, but 85% of people do it because the chances, you go days and days without having an accident or a scare. So everyone does it. I just lost my train of thought. Oh, it's kind of the same thing with the car insurance. I mean, you gotta make sure you're covered with that gap. And it's not gap insurance, but, Farmers, State Farm, Geico,
Allstate, Progressive.
So they all have it. And what was going on that chat? Everyone was giving their opinion about insurance, and really the only person that should be giving their opinion, and even though that we do, but we've talked to the insurance guy, is the insurance guy.
Right.
I mean, please reach out to your agent and get that rideshare insurance, and they can kind of explain you, and they will help you through the Uber process. Yeah, again, they're going to guide you. They can't do anything about it because it's Uber or Lyft.
Right.
But and just remember, Uber's is $1,000 deductible and Lyft is $2,500.
Right.
So that's sizable. But
I heard somebody say that when you have the rider, that insurance will help cover the deductible. I don't know how that would work, but I don't know if
we see so many things commented about on those posts, and
right.
I don't know. It's possible.
Didn't he say that his insurance company was really good at helping him understand, and that he was kind of like not getting a lot of help from Uber or whatever rideshare he was on, that they were saying, well, we have to do the estimate. And before we can do the estimate, we have to take your car.
Well, I did see they were
all the way somewhere.
Well, they took it to Portland, which isn't that. I mean, it's in Ionia, but it might be just the place that Uber uses.
Right.
They're going to tow it back to, and maybe not. There's probably only certain repair places you can go to. What if they're in Portland? He's going to have to get it fixed there. I mean, it's not a huge deal. Just get your stuff out. Let them deal with it. I know it's frustrating to not have a car or not know, but even with not with Farmers, I haven't dealt with that. But older insurance companies, they don't let you know jack. You just sit around and wait. And I would call when I got wrecked my car, and sometimes it's just, you just gotta wait. So,
but yeah, just keep an eye out for. Hopefully, we'll be able to do a sit down with him after the process and kind of do a debrief for them.
Yeah, I wish I could give him some advice, because I don't know anyone that's gone through it. Or that I've talked to, at least.
Didn't Amy?
Jamie,
that's right.
I've been trying to get Jamie on for frickin' months, but she keeps shooting me down. So, she's probably scared of the beard or something.
Hey, it's pretty scary.
I have news about the beard, so. Next, might be going away.
He doesn't want to get recognized anymore.
That's right. I know, I get recognized. Hey, I saw you. That big bushy beard.
Like a baby like me.
I know, right? Oh man, it's gonna look weird. Jesper wrote a great blog article last Friday. It's called "The Long and Lonely Road," and it's just about connecting with other drivers while you're out and trying to not be crazy while you drive. I find when my buddies are not driving, I hate it. It's so boring.
Yeah, right. The last 2 weeks have been very boring
on the weekends, because you probably talk to Cece a lot during the day, right?
Yeah, she's got life going on, kids, school, and all that. And then occasionally Nick, but Nick sucks lately, so and then you guys haven't been on, so I'm just like,
I'm getting on tomorrow.
It gives you this motivation, like, okay,
it's so hard to explain to people, like it's like hanging with your buddies, but you're not sitting next to each other. Like, what? I'm like, yeah, we have this group, and we just all like complain or say woo woo.
It's almost like being at a pub, right? I mean,
but I'm not drunk.
No, I know, right? But and you're still hanging out, you're still doing all the fun stuff, right? Yeah. But anyways, just real quick, my inspiration for the blog was actually I had the day before I had met another local driver. His name happened to be Jason as well, good guy.
I thought you literally were talking about me.
No, not you that time. Not you. Anyway, so he kind of dropped my wife and I, we were going to the theater, so he took us from the restaurant to the theater. It was kind of a windy night, so we didn't want to walk. And we just had a couple of moments to kind of, it was a minimum fare, yeah.
You tipped, of course.
Of course I did.
Yeah.
I know. And not just in the app. But anyways.
Did you tip 1 cent?
No. I think I tipped him $5. I don't care. I mean, but anyways, so we were just talking about how he didn't, he was doing the lonely thing too and stuff like that. And he experienced that he had, the initial kind of honeymoon period, when you first started driving, that kind of stuff, that was really cool and all that stuff. But he had recently started driving full time, and that kind of had almost kind of broken him a little bit. And it wasn't the same. And we started talking about that, and I started thinking about what before you and I started talking, I almost stopped because I was almost done. It was just it wasn't fun anymore.
Right.
I wasn't enjoying it anymore. It was just. I used to, and I still now see it as my therapy, and I used to do it back then as well, because you get out and talk and stuff like that. But it just wasn't the same. After about a year and a half, but then we started talking. We started using the tools that we now talk. I've constantly forgot the name of it.
It's Telegram.
Telegram. Thank you.
It's like WhatsApp.
So we, using that, and that has just brought this next level back.
Yeah.
Where. Now we get the camaraderie, we get the social aspect, we get all those things, and we get the added benefit of knowing who's out at night and somebody else is knowing, and we checking up on each other.
Yeah, we typically try to sign off on the weekend, just like, hey, I'm home, or I'm on my way home, or whatever. I mean, we don't check up on anybody, but we'll be like, sometimes during the night, I'll be like, dude, I haven't heard Nick in like over an hour. Like, what's going on? So, yeah, it's a great blog article about that, and we actually, I forgot about our little GR Rideshare Adventure chat.
Right.
We have a chat that through Telegram that anyone can join. Your number is hidden, as far as I know. I know I have your number, but
Yeah.
Telegram is weird where you have to have the person's phone number if you want to connect personally. But this chat is a special super group or something that anyone can join. And we've had a few people join, someone from Detroit, somewhere else, and there's not a lot of chatter on it, but we're just going to use that to just connect with other people outside our market, or that we don't want regular conversation with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it.
And what I liked about it too, like when Cece had a problem with a tire, like she could just go in the group and be like, hey,
Yeah.
and see who was out.
Right.
And I like that we can do that.
I felt bad for Nick. He was throwing it out there, and everyone.
I messaged him personally, and I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" I was about ready to walk out the door to go get him, but he said, "Let me see how far away roadside is."
Okay.
Because I was like, "Oh, 2 kids, you got the kids,
what a bummer.
and you're stuck. Let me."
Yeah, but no, that's a great point. That if you get in a jam, and in fact, it happened to me when I totaled my Pilot. I put out the message, and there's another guy that used to be in our group. His name's Jeffrey. He came out, and I think it was my other buddy, Paul. He came out too, but it was through Telegram or WhatsApp. We were using WhatsApp for a while, but the reason this sounds so stupid, but there's so many voice messages. WhatsApp would not play them simultaneously. So you had to hit play every single
I would just
time.
keep going.
Yeah, and now with Telegram, you just hit play, and the screen goes dark, and you can listen to your heart's content, and that's why we switched to Telegram.
And let's focus on that. That it's not when we are driving. This is not texting. This is voice.
Yeah.
These are voice messages.
Good point.
You're pushing a quick button, and we don't have to hold the button.
No, you can lock it in.
We can lock it in, and then we just talk and we release, and it goes into the group. And then when the passenger gets out of the car, we can kind of keep up and get caught up on the conversation. So
yeah, and it keeps it private, and passenger doesn't listen to it.
Yep.
And it's called Telegram. It's every freaking phone can get it, so it's not iPhone or whatever. All right, so next up, Kentwood Schools around here sent a note home, and I am on the struggle bus to find this. $10 amongst yourselves. Here it is. No, that's not it. Oh, come on. Yeah, read only. I don't have Word. This is like a bare bones. So it's a letter. I hate you, Microsoft. It's a letter. I should have brought this up beforehand.
There you go.
It's a letter from Kentwood Public Schools about Uber drivers picking up kids at school. Uber Lyft drivers. It's against the rules. You cannot transport an unsupervised minor. That brings this up. I'm kicking myself. So maybe a month ago, I ended up going out to Thousand Oaks. I got to request a select. I'm like, oh, sweet, way out there, probably going downtown. I pull up. Dad comes out with his kid. He's like 16. And I was like, how old is he? And he's like 16. I'm like, I can't take him. And the guy was kind of whatever. I'm sure he was drunk. What I should have said when I read the word unsupervised, I should have said, hey, if you want, hop in. Let's go take him home, and I'll drive you back to your house. I'm kicking myself that I didn't do that because that would probably have been a nice fare. But you can always do that. You can always say, although you say, is your mom and dad around? And they just pull some dude. Although I don't care if they're above 18.
I think people don't see it from the right perspective, and this is for your protection, guys. It's you do not ever want to create a situation where you are alone with a minor in a car.
Right. I don't understand why people don't.
There's absolutely nothing to say that minor can't come up with some story, and all of a sudden you'll find yourself in a heck of a mess.
Even though it didn't happen, it could change your life.
Absolutely.
It could change your life.
So just
have a dash cam for one.
Have a dash cam, and it's just as much for your own protection as it is for theirs.
I've never asked for ID, and I never will, but I will ask their age, and if they're honest, I'm going to kick them out. If it's questionable and they say, yeah, I'm 18, I'd be like, I'm just going to make an executive decision and say, I think you're 18. I mean, that's the problem. What are we going to ask for ID?
Right.
But Kentwood Public School is probably the second biggest school district in Grand Rapids. Sent a letter home to the parents advising them that you're not to do this. Right. Your kids can't use Uber and Lyft. And they did include their policies on that. Children must be supervised. Only adults can have an Uber ride account, blah, 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 blah. I like this. I applaud the school for doing this.
Absolutely.
It's important. It's for, I get it. Kids don't understand insurance and safety. They're like, oh, I'm not going to do anything wrong. And the driver might say the same thing. Well, it'll be fine. I'm not going to do anything to that kid. But like you said, you get accused of it, you're screwed.
Even getting into an accident.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't have written out permission.
I know.
Or, that puts you in a whole different situation.
Is it really worth the $6 you're going to make on the ride? There's plenty of adults that need rides. So right. I have seen a lot of chatter on the Facebook group. A lot of people are complaining about it, which is good to see, but it's never going to stop. There's always going to be drivers that do it. So
what do you guys think about the new service that's popping up specializing in taking and driving underage kids? I forget where they were at, but the whole point was that was their main focus was it's a rideshare app like Uber and Lyft, but the main niche target, I guess, target audience is the single moms who don't have a way of getting their children to school or to daycare or anything like that.
I think I'd be comfortable with it if my child was old enough to stay home alone. I think I would be comfortable with it.
But why is that different than as a parent? Why would that be different for you than Uber and Lyft? Because how do you know that they have gone through a more rigorous, the driver has gone through a more rigorous process?
I mean, that's what they talk about. The company does more background checks, not. Yeah, that's the thing. You do a background check, you can dig as much as you want. If it's clean, I mean, look at the guy in Kalamazoo. Mm-hmm. He had a mental problem. So right. you are taking a risk.
Yes.
If Uber and Lyft was smart about it, I think they would capitalize on something like this.
Yeah.
Because there's a big group of single parents. I had one a year ago. He was like, I need you to take my kids. And I'm like, I pulled up and I'm like, I can't take them. I think they were in 3rd and 4th grade. They were small kids. And I'm like, he goes, well, can I ride with you? We drop them off and then you bring me back here so I can get ready for work. And then, only take me a couple minutes and then take me to work. I'm like, yeah,
absolutely.
I can do that. So that, it would be smart if they capitalize on that, because there are.
My guess is, though, that they have to have a ton more insurance just because they're probably going to get sued more.
Right.
I mean, it sounds weird, but I mean, you're putting your kid in there. You bring up a good point. My son, who is autistic, he goes to school full time, but before he went to therapy on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then he would get out at noon. I would love to have a service of that. I was looking for someone to pick him up because we both work. Like, can you get him to ride? The bus will not come pick him up at therapy.
Right.
They just won't do it. It's just at a business, they will not pick up at a business. So I would have loved a service like that.
So there is some services in town that will do that. They specialize to disabled and seniors.
It's insanely expensive.
Oh, absolutely it is. No,
I mean, it's like $50 to $75 per time.
right.
Well, they have the is it the Go Bus?
Well, yeah. So you Go Bus tickets.
But here's my thing: I'm not going to put my 8-year-old autistic kid on a Go Bus. It has to be more specialized.
But I also thought the Go Bus you had to be a senior.
No. My daughter, I'm looking into it because she's special needs. There's a form you get filled out by the doctor's office. You send it to them. It takes about a month for them to go through it.
Okay.
And then you pay $3.50 per trip.
Okay.
And it could be they're the only one on the bus.
Yeah.
And you set up the time for when they're going to be picked up. You set up the time, when they need to be picked back up.
Okay.
And they go to and from.
Yeah, I think there's a kid or a young adult, or maybe he's 30. I don't know. He's older than that. I see the rapid bus. It's a rapid. It's a small one,
right?
But I see him come down every day. So maybe that's what he's doing. They're going to pick him up and take him to work.
It's through the rapid, and it's specialized. It's the Go Bus.
Okay.
And it could be times where they're the only one on.
Okay.
And you set it up.
Yeah.
So.
And there's agencies in town that'll help you with getting Go Bus tickets as well if you can't afford them yourself. Like Network 180 sometimes will do it. There's several senior agencies in town that will do it for seniors and stuff. So,
I do want to get back to my example is that it wouldn't work for my son, so it would have been nice. I don't know if I would have done it. I think you'd have to be super, super vetted. Like, I would have to interview him myself. Like, just like someone that's going to watch your kid.
Yeah.
We never could find anybody, but I think it's good for Kentwood Public Schools to do that. I think all schools should do it. I don't know how much it's really gonna. It didn't say like we're gonna get you in trouble, but they just basically laid it out and said, "Hey, don't do this."
Should we use this moment since we're talking about that? Should we talk about the post this morning about you said WC's
Fox 17.
Yeah, Fox 17. Was
Someone
doing the
posted yesterday, and I can only assume that she was one of the people that either A, got busted, or B, did the right thing. Because why would she know about it? So my guess is she found out from somebody, or it happened to her, that they did an undercover car seat thing and minor thing. And you know what? It probably is from this letter. I bet they saw that letter and they were like, hey, let's do this. So I'm sure that's coming out soon. And I hope it's, can you imagine if it's like what? Can you imagine if it's Chris? Chris in our group, just somebody that we know pretty well, and they're like, "Oh, Chris, no, what are you doing?"
But the whole idea again is if there is no car seat, just turn them down, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, don't risk yourself. Don't risk this thing or whatever.
Yeah, and I'll just say it now. We're gonna jump ahead later on, but in San Francisco, there is now an option to cancel for unsupervised minor, unaccompanied minor,
and no car seat,
no car seat. So, that's what we need, because I always didn't know what to do. It didn't happen very often, but I would cancel, and then I would either email Uber and say, "Hey, this kid had a car seat," if I didn't get my cancellation fee. Otherwise, you have to wait there the 5 minutes, which isn't terrible either. But
now, it's not bad if they're like, "Okay, cool." But I've seen posts where they're like, "Yeah, they hit my car. They're like screaming at me."
I get it. It's tough. I mean, it's when you're in a pickle, it's tough. But I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry, and don't hit my car, because we're going to have a bigger problem. Next up, the Uber Ride Pass monthly subscription. So, what do you guys think of this? It's so different from Lyft's. Lyft's is $300 a month. This is $15. But it's discounted. So, it's not like Lyft's is, well, actually Lyft's is kind of discounted. It's up to $15. They just presented it a different way.
Yeah.
To me, I would much rather pay $15 a month and just get a discount than pay $300.
I guess it depends on how much you take it.
I guess.
I have a lot of drivers who just sold their car. Not drivers, sorry, riders.
Yeah.
That they don't ever use a car anymore, and particularly with they live downtown, and how it's so impossible to get a spot to park.
The
downtown.
parking is the issue.
And so they everywhere they go they use an Uber.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how well it would work super well in Grand Rapids because the 2 mile radius is great, but you have to drive pretty far to get anywhere else.
Well, but I mean, the riders that I have had that shared that story, they say they like it and it works very well.
Yeah,
I've had a lot of people moving here from Chicago,
Yep,
and they like it.
So it looks like 5 cities again. They can track their say. Oh yeah, this is kind of cool. Excuse me. I'm a big stat guy, so this how much you saved. It's kind of cool. Like I like my stats on my gas mileage and how much I save on my electricity and stuff. So it'll tell you, when it's of course auto renew, and then it'll tell you how much you've saved for this pass. It says drivers will still get the same earnings based on time and distance. So you're saying that every ride Uber's going to eat it then,
Possibly.
even without surge.
Yeah.
Because if they're giving them a discount, they're paying us the same.
It's going to be like what happens this coming week with their Ubers giving $10 on election day.
Oh yeah, on Tuesday
to get people motivated to get out to vote. They go on and the code will be right there that day.
Okay.
And they add it, and then they can get.
When was it recently or in the last year they had a code that it was an epic fail and it didn't work? I remember we talked about it. I think maybe it was Valentine's Day or something, but
I know last year there was a company who did they were paying for everybody's ride home from the Christmas party.
Oh,
and
that's
the code
what it was.
would not work.
Right. And I think Uber took the heat on it and said it was their fault.
Right.
But yeah, I remember that blowing up. People were so pissed. But and again, all these stories with Uber, it's talking about nears their IPO in 2019. They're just trying to. Now I'm kind of dumb when it comes to investments and stuff like that. Is it to show the investors that they have so many different options? Is that what they're trying to do? They're not just rideshare.
Right.
Speaking of that, I saw somebody. Tell me what you think about this. And he's just probably blowing smoke, but that somebody says that they think Amazon should buy Lyft and kick Uber's butt. So Amazon swoops in, buys Lyft, makes them profitable, and just takes over the rideshare industry.
It happens all the time and everything else.
I know. Look at Facebook bought Instagram. Facebook bought WhatsApp. I mean,
well, even before social media, you had airlines.
Yeah.
Northwest. Now it's Delta.
Yeah, you worked in the airline industry. Yeah.
United bought Continental.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I'm a huge Amazon guy. I use it all the time. I don't know. It'd be interesting.
right.
I mean, I feel like Lyft is gaining ground. I read an article. It's still Uber is number one, but Lyft is rapidly gaining because I think they're sticking to what they do. They're not getting bikes. They're not doing food delivery. They're not doing scooters. They're just doing rideshare. So I don't know. I'm a Lyft guy. So
Yeah, I take Lyft.
but I mean, I wish Lyft had the major market here and Uber was the second. I mean, personally.
Do you guys get those questions? Which one do you prefer?
Every single, okay, not every single ride. 9 out of 10 rides.
Right.
And I always say Lyft. And then they're like, why?
I get that. Why aren't you driving for Lyft?
Do you tell them?
No.
You shouldn't, because they'd be a little. They're like, wait, Lyft kicked you off their platform because of a one ticket, but Uber
thank
didn't.
you so much. Thank you for just sharing that with everybody again.
No one cares. No one cares.
Well, I'd say somebody just posted that they got kicked off Uber because of what?
A ticket?
A ticket. They're like, I have a 4-point. It was a good rating.
Yeah.
I have this many rides under my belt, and it was like improper something, U-turn something, and they were like so mad that they got kicked off the platform by Uber.
My guess is that they were on the brink anyways, and that one ticket pushed them over the edge. Here's what I'm telling everybody. Uber does not care about you. You are just a number. There is no loyalty. They don't care if you're a 5.0 and 10,000 rides. You're not working for a small company where that loyalty makes a difference. Uber doesn't care. They check a box. If you have 5 points in tickets, you're getting kicked off. It doesn't matter if you're a 5.0 and just this amazing. I mean, it sucks. It's not fair because they should be like, hey, this guy's really good. He just made one mistake. Let's let it go. But
you got to remember too, you're not an employee.
Correct.
You're an independent contractor, so
Right.
anytime they can terminate you.
Well, even if you're an employee, most companies are at will. At any point, they'd be like, yeah, see ya. So. Oh, what's up?
Well, I'm having a little bit of a discussion with Angela here on Facebook.
Is Angela in Grand Rapids?
She's in Grand Rapids.
Yeah,
and
she talks. To us.
So Angela Renee. So thank you so much, Angela. And he's talking about how she wants to spice up the topic, and so just I don't want to spend a lot of time on this question, but we talked about it before. She wanted to just talk a little bit about cash rides and the whole benefit, how much Uber and Lyft takes. And I don't think we want to spend any more about that. We've knocked that into it. Again, I think the biggest thing is just, yes, some people seem to think that Uber and Lyft takes more than this should. But guys, we are getting paid the same we always were getting paid. Let's just leave it there. We are getting paid by ride and by mileage and by minute.
That's what our contracts say.
Yeah, and we are getting paid the same we always got paid. The fact that Uber and Lyft are getting paid more, okay. They are. But
in Angela's defense, though, it is frustrating.
Oh, absolutely.
But here's the thing. It's going to make you unhappy as a driver if you just don't let it go. You can't control. Well, you can control it. You can stop driving for them and do something else. But these are the terms that you signed. And so if they charge them $1 million and you get paid $25, I mean, that's what you signed.
I think the problem is that you have I want to call people trolls, but let's be honest, you have trolls on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Who go on and they're like, this is what they paid, and this is how much I got, and they turn it to a percentage.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow it went from in our contracts we got paid a certain amount per mile per minute.
Yeah.
To people post this and say, look, they're taking 50% of my fare. And then everyone's like, oh, and so they're running with this whole percentage thing, and that's why I'll go on and I go, it doesn't matter if they pay $500 for the ride.
Right.
Like, does it suck to see that? Yeah. But we agreed to a certain amount in the contract. So unless you have somebody that can negotiate rates with Uber, nationally, it really, we're just sitting there fueling a fire and getting more people upset about it.
I think just, and not that absolutely, I agree with everything you're saying. I think the thing that's going to be interesting to see is there's actually a class action lawsuit against Lyft right now on that particular topic.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I believe it's in the New York market.
Of course.
And of course, right? So I saw it in a video the other day, and honestly I don't know how old the class action lawsuit is right now. We'll follow up with that. But it'll be interesting to see the outcome of that. Lyft has filed a motion to dismiss it.
Of course.
For these grounds, exactly. It's the drivers are getting paid exactly what they were getting paid before, and according to the contract. So none of that changed.
Right.
What changed is their upfront pricing policies.
Right.
And yes, it's frustrating, but I mean, you can either choose to let it go or stop driving. Those are your options, I think.
I don't understand why Uber put that in the app. Why are they even showing it to drivers? That was their biggest mistake. I know they were trying to be forthcoming and honest, but you're now charging these riders more, and it's just pissing drivers off. I understand the frustration because it makes me mad too. When I see that, I'm like, son of a bitch.
Right.
Like, I only got that much, but you know what? That's the deal I signed. So
I think what they should do, in my mind, if they would just focus on fixing the issues, which is the long rides. How do we fix the issue with the long rides? My ride to Chicago, which I never should have taken, it sucked. Right? I made like $8 an hour or whatever. It was so not worth it. Fix those issues, which I think has already been fixed in some markets because they're allowing for the return fare and all that stuff. Fix those in the medium-sized markets as well. And then I just want to go back to Angela's question about cash rides. Okay, I'm not even going to touch on the topic that, of course, that is not approved by Lyft or Uber
Once
to
again,
do
it's
a
a terms
cash
of
ride.
service.
But, guys, remember, you are not covered by any insurance at all if you take a cash ride. Be careful. You can lose everything.
Yeah.
Okay? And let's just also be sure, if you don't have a rider, if you don't have that extra rideshare insurance from your insurance, you run the risk of not being covered at all, including the just basic insurance you have to have. So you might lose everything you own.
Yeah.
It is just not worth it.
Is it worth $20?
Well, even not even just insurance, but you put your own safety.
Right.
You know, you invite a stranger in your car. And
that's true. I never thought.
You know, what if they wreck your car and take off? You're going to be like, I picked up this guy. I don't know his name. I don't know where he lives. I don't know, I picked him up at this bar, but you have no way to track it. Or what if they throw up in your car?
Yeah.
You're going to sit there and be like, we're going to go to the ATM right now and you're going to give me money before you get a car. And what happens if a fight or there's like something physical? You just have to think about that.
And I'll be honest with everyone. I have done a few on occasion. I'm not an angel. But it's not a regular thing. I'm not going to give the example, but I haven't been an angel. I've probably done it on 5 times or less, and I've got like 3,000 rides. So,
I gave a ride this weekend. It wasn't a cash ride. I was at the light on Monroe, and I saw these 3 people that were absolutely drunk. Like they were falling over into the street almost. And I was stopped at the light, and he's like waving at me. And I'm like, well, you can pull up. He's like, dude, I'm just going to be honest. I'm so drunk. I can't even operate my phone right now. And he was like holding his phone up, and he's just like falling. I go, look, it's late at night. I'm worried about your guys' safety. Where do you guys live? And they're like on the phone, and I can hear this girl's mom talking to her. And she's like, I'm at, and she's like saying the address. And then she's also yelling at her daughter that she's in this position. I go, get in the car. As a good Samaritan, I took them. And then he did give me money. He was like, here, for taking me. But it wasn't set up as I did it as like that guy at the gas station who was wasted.
Yeah, that I did.
I wasn't expecting anything in return.
And I think it's important to have a dash cam for those situations because it's all recorded.
Yep.
So if the insurance company comes back or Uber, you're like, hey, that I didn't get paid for this.
Right.
I didn't ask for money. And I agree. That's kind of like the intent that you're trying to do a right thing. So. Yeah, we can go round and round. I had a good point when Yesser was talking, and then no, I didn't want to interrupt
her.
No, you didn't interrupt me. I had to hold back and not interrupt you, but then I lost it because I have like a squirrel brain. But it had something to do with the insurance, and we can go round and round about the insurance. And no, it was more about it was on the same lines of why Uber shows us that. Oh, I know what it was. There it is. My company charges a certain rate and makes a certain amount of money that I work for, right? And I get paid. My contract is what I get paid per hour. They make way more money than me. And I know that they make more money than me, but I'm not complaining, right? Like they own the business. Uber owns the business. They can charge whatever they want. You sign the deal. Let's say, I get an hourly rate. Let's say $10 an hour. That's what I earn. I've signed that deal. I've committed to say, I'm going to work for you for $10 an hour.
Right.
They're making $400 an hour, but it's the same thing for Uber. You just the problem is, that's why I don't understand why Uber showed us that. Like they never did before. Why are they showing us now? Like that's what pisses people off. And it pisses me off. I don't like seeing that. And we do bitch about it in our Telegram group. Like, holy crap, I only made this, and this. They charge this, and this. But then we move on. So at that point, we're going to move on.
Sounds good. Thanks for the question, though, Andrew.
No, we appreciate it. Next up, Uber, again, is developing an on-demand staffing business. I actually like this. It's short-term staffing. At this point, they're not going to use active Uber drivers, but they're thinking about it where, hey, you can go do yard work or those kind of things. Yeah, maybe it's not yard work. Maybe it's more like work in a factory for like a temp job. Like that's what they're going to be doing. So I don't know. I think it's a good idea. It basically diversifies what you can be doing because we talk about that. If you get deactivated from Uber or Lyft, you should diversify. It's kind of the same thing. Although if you got deactivated from Uber, you can't do the side job either.
But isn't it kind of like a temp though?
I think so. I mean, I read all these. I actually did read all these articles. But let's see, as we're developing a short-term staffing business to offer 1099 independent contractors for events and corporate functions.
Okay.
Dubbed Uber Works, the service would provide waiters, security guards, and temporary staffers to business partners. So probably putting chairs out, tables. I mean, now that I read that, the first paragraph explains it a little bit more. So I guess it's not a factory job like a temp service. But
I think if you step back and look at it, though, I think it's more it's interesting to see how the whole employment market could be changing.
Yeah. The gig economy we talk about.
The gig economy is growing, right? It's taking on, it's not, so you're not going to see like 10, 15, 20 years from now, you're not going to see the people who have stayed 30 years at the same job like you did 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
That grandpa used to, that was what they did. They worked for 30 years at the mill. And that was it. You don't have that anymore, and that there's a big change there.
Yeah, but I question you on that a little bit with the gig economy, because you're not going to. One thing with the gig economy, there's no room for advancement, right? So you're kind of at what. What do you mean? Why not?
You have your own choice for advancement. You can choose what you want to advance in.
Right, but my point is, if you choose Shipt or you choose Uber or you choose Grubhub, that's all you do. Like,
oh, sure,
that's it. You don't get to become. I mean, I guess you could apply as a supervisor for Uber or Grubhub, but my point is the 1099 part. It is whatever that contract is.
It's not
at
like
that
a
moment.
normal job where you're like employee, lead, or assistant, store manager,
and for raises, like most companies, every year you get some sort of at least a cost of living raise. You're kind of 1099. You're like, well, this is it. This is all you get. We're not giving you a raise. In fact, Uber for years took it away.
But who's to say that's not going to change? Who's to say that can't be built into a rating-based rate or something like pay? Or
no, that is, I've been bringing that up for quote-unquote years. The higher the rating, you should get paid more.
Well, but
is that what you're talking about?
Yes, but they have to come up with a bulletproof rating system then.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole thing. That my whole debacle about people rating me 1 point when I say, no, I don't, I refuse to put 14 people in my car.
Why not?
Yeah, I know.
You don't have a clown car?
I don't have a clown car. That kind of stuff.
If they were dressed up as clowns, would you do it?
Now you're talking.
Now you're talking a good video.
No, but that, right? That has to go hand in hand.
Right.
To get, because everything can be cheat. Everything can be misused. Let's use that term.
Yeah. But yeah, Ben and I talk about, the gig economy and Amazon Flex, Grubhub. Like the one thing, the best part of all that is the flexibility. I mean, you love the flexibility.
I do. I don't even think I could go back to a normal
Isn't that
job
great?
and clock in, and that's all I did for years. Like, clock in, clock out, work what they say to work, work extra even if I don't want to, mandate, and now not doing it.
Yeah, that would be so hard.
I can't, there's tons of jobs I see where I'm qualified, and I had a friend the other day. She's like, "But you can make up to, anywhere from 16 to 25," and I'm like, "I don't care."
Yeah,
I don't think I could.
I mean, at this point in your life, you don't. You need that flexibility.
Right.
10 years from now, it might be different. Who knows?
Right.
Yeah, the flexibility is so nice. I'm kind of battling that in my personal life right now with flexibility and getting. Looking at a different avenue or career, and I'm like, man, I'm going to lose my flexibility in the winter. I like it. That's been the biggest battle with this job, is losing my flexibility. So the 1099, the gig economy, it's great for moms. It's great for college kids. I'm trying to get my boy to do. He's like, he goes to school every day from 8 to 3:30, and he's trying to earn some money. I'm like, he can't do Uber driving. He has a two-door, but he can do Uber Eats. I'm like, dude, that's perfect for you. You don't have a boss. He doesn't need to make a ton of money. Go out on the weekends, make $150. I mean, that's completely doable on a weekend for Uber Eats. And he hasn't done it yet, but he don't listen to his old man. So do we all? And do anybody listen to his old man?
Maybe his therapist needs to tell him to do it. Then it'll be fine.
His therapist? Let's see. Oh, okay. This video's okay. I'm gonna tell the truth. I didn't preview it, but I'm gonna see if it's fine. the YouTube video about flying Uber. So there's probably gonna be an ad. So we're just gonna let it play here. It's 4 minutes. Oh gosh, there's not an ad.
Uber is on Earth to crack the code on urban mobility. It's what we've been working on in different ways for many years. How do we make our cities smarter? How do we help people move through their cities with greater efficiency? So far, we've been focused on ground-based transportation. And for us, the natural next step was flight. We started off by asking ourselves the question, why can't we fly today? Why can't we take
Is this from The Onion?
So in Uber fashion, we took a deep look at the challenge of flying people in and around cities on demand. We quickly realized it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when. Flying really can replace driving in many cases, saving people precious time. And it can be done in a way that is ultimately less expensive than car ownership, as well as friendly to the environment and the community. But the big win is the time savings. Trips that can take hours on the ground can be reduced to minutes in the air. Giving time back to people is something we're very passionate about at Uber. That's more time with family, more time growing our economies, and lower stress for everyone.
We started developing a first principle view of how to go about doing this and what sort of vehicle it would take to accomplish this mission. And during this process, we discovered that this vehicle was not a helicopter, but rather electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicles, or eVTOLs. eVTOLs will make our lives easier, our commutes shorter, and our cities cleaner and more productive. They'll fundamentally change how our cities function and how we live in them. At NASA, my team and I spent decades researching the technology that enables this, distributed electric propulsion, or DEP. This technology allows these aircraft to operate in urban centers safely and quietly.
Skyscrapers change cities by taking advantage of the space above cities. Urban aviation will do the same, and in the process, it will reduce congestion on the ground and make our cities feel more open and more accessible for everyone.
Of course, all of this won't just happen overnight, but in true Uber fashion, we're pushing forward as quickly as possible.
How's your self-driving car going?
We're already working with manufacturers and suppliers, governments and regulators from dozens of countries, the most innovative engineers. All
right, we're going to kill it there. There's still 2 minutes left. The one thing I always wonder, how are they going to control all this traffic in the air? I mean, in a safe manner. I mean, you think that it's automatic flying, like there's not going to be a pilot or?
No, I don't think it's going to be automatic. I think
there'll be a pilot.
I think but it's already somewhat controlled, right? Because I believe, I'm not 100% sure about these things. One of my buddies, he owns a small Cessna, and has the small pilot license, whatever that's called.
Private pilot license.
Well, yeah, something like that. But I think there's a height he can't go over.
Okay.
So there's different levels already as to where they can legally fly. What airspace they can fly in, and so there's some of those rules already. The same with drones. If you have a drone that weighs more than this, you have to actually get it registered and that kind of stuff. So there's some of that, but it's going to be more, of course.
Yeah, They say to make it affordable,
They do something like that, and not Uber, but there's a company in California. They have an app for it.
Really?
They can go on and find private jets that will fly them. If they want to do private parties, if they want to. Yeah,
but it's super expensive.
Sometimes they say it's cheaper than actually flying like commercial. I've had somebody tell me, they're like, yeah, for tickets for all of us, I can go to this guy.
I mean, that could be true because they're like, at least it's in the air. It's like the airlines trying to fill the seats, even if they have to sell them at a discounted rate. At least they're putting butts in the seats. So I don't know. I just don't see how it's going to be financially. I mean, people are used to paying $5 for a 1 mile. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, but if you look at the video on there, it shows long distances. So something that took 2 hours now is going to take you 8 minutes.
That's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be awesome? I would love it. To some areas, I mean, my mother-in-law has a cottage up kind of near West Branch. It's in Mayo. It's about 3.5 hours from here. There's a airport up there, and it can take small, like Cessna planes. I'm like, man, we should get a plane, and I should get my license, and then we could fly up there. And she was like, yeah, okay. But I mean, how great would it be? How much time it would save if you went up there regularly, like every weekend? But Yeah.
But there's a lot of costs related to having a plane. That's the thing people don't,
Yeah, and
It's like-
it looks like the technology that they're creating is brand new technology, and so there could be
There is a lot of things that still need to be figured out.
Yeah.
On a political level. I mean, they still have to be figured out before we, people say self-driving cars in 5 years. Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
It's gonna take longer. It just will.
What do you think your guess is for everyday self-driving cars where it's
I think 15 years.
15 years where you're like where you're driving down the road and there's more cars around you that are self-driving than
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it's close. I think it's definitely going to be,
It'll be our lifetime where we'll probably.
I thought they were doing something like that in Grand Rapids.
Well,
they're doing a bus that is. Yeah, they just announced it.
Yeah,
There's an attendant on it, so there's someone there, but it is self-driving.
But it's still in the infancy stage.
It's gonna. It's supposed to be live next year.
Yeah.
No, I know, but it's going to be that one service. We're not talking.
Right.
We're not talking every man's own,
and it's only like a 4 or 6 passenger bus, so it's not like it's this.
And it's just around downtown.
Yeah. I'm wondering how it's going to do. We always talk about the snow because it uses all these sensors, but when they do the Google Maps where they drive by, that's great. You never notice they never do it during the snow. You know what I mean? Because you can't see anything. So what's going to happen when that self-driving car is like, where's all my points or whatever? I mean, I'm talking out of place. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but it does bring up a point. I mean, how does it see the lines on the road when it's covered by snow and ice?
Well, it's but these sensors are
sophisticated.
Well, yeah.
But my point is, there's times I'm driving down M6 in the middle of a snowstorm, and I don't even know what lane I'm in. I'm lucky if I'm on the right direction I need to be going.
Okay.
Well,
so maybe you're the one in the wrong direction on 131 every weekend.
Probably. All right.
Speaking of that, didn't you just see one the other day, like last weekend or something like that? Somebody was going. When was that?
He's on a once a month rotation of seeing a wrong way driver.
I know.
Always on Saturday night.
It's party night, bro.
What is that? Ottawa
Oh yeah.
and Ionia. People turning the wrong way.
Yep.
Roger is mentioning that the volume seems to be a little bit low on Facebook. It can be
for who?
Just in general, they're saying.
There's nothing I can do about that.
We'll speak more into the microphones, Roger. Thank you.
I check your volume on your device. I'm just saying.
No.
I thought he said it needed to be. Oh yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Anyways,
maybe it was doing the video. I don't know. But I'm just
could be. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm not sure what else I can do. So.
Nope.
Were we done with whatever we were talking about?
I think so. Yep. I think so. I think the big thing here is that we're not going to lose our jobs anytime soon, guys.
Oh yeah. Although, speaking of truck 18-wheelers, I mean, that's coming. I think we're going to see that before we see.
I think the pipe project is going to take over and kill the trucking market, but it's not.
The what project? I'm sorry.
What do they call it? These air pipes where they're going to use essentially like the old mail pipes they had in buildings.
Yeah,
and they're going to do that on a much larger scale.
Yep.
I
haven't heard anything about that.
It's actually a project. It was a brainchild of the guy who came up with the Tesla. What's his name?
No. This isn't for packaging. That's for people.
No, I know. But this you mentioned truckers, trucking, right? And you mentioned the big thing about trucking is transporting goods.
Correct.
Right. And so what they're starting here is they're starting with these pipes, transferring goods between cities and stuff. And it'll be crazy speeds. And they already now have connected, in the process of connecting a couple of cities.
I just had a picture of like something breaking the glass and flying out and hitting somebody,
I was going to imagine, can you imagine going in one of those and doing like 200 miles an hour in this little hole?
The biggest thing, you're sitting in a pod. You're sitting in a pod in this thing. And the biggest thing what they're doing right now is they're trying to figure out how do we control, for passengers, how do you control inertia when inside the pod when it's moving at these speeds,
right?
So that's what they're trying to solve. That
you can just get out and I can see everybody like
it's a real thing. I'm sorry, but look it up.
No, I know, but I heard it as a passenger car, not a goods transportation car.
Okay, well, they're starting with goods.
They're starting with goods.
And then once they have solved the inertia problem, they're going to want to move passengers as well.
Okay.
I mean, they're talking about like being able to travel between Grand Rapids and Detroit in 15 minutes on the ground.
Nope. I'll let it run for about 5 years and then.
I would do it. I would totally do it.
Okay, you'd be the first one.
I'm signing me up. And yeah, you're right, Roger. Thank you, Elon. It's Elon's brainchild.
Yeah. He's crazy.
But
crazy.
Good crazy. There you go.
You need to be a developer or to have that mind to think about that stuff. You got to be a little crazy.
But the cool thing is he's crazy and then he lets them go. Like, for instance, he doesn't own the rights to that project anymore. Virgin bought it, and they're moving forward with it and stuff like that. So he invites other people to take part in it and help grow these things. He wants to just see them grow.
Yeah,
and I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
So
this is, I think, the last article. Uber Eats is trying to conquer the U.S. suburbs. Currently, Uber Eats covers a little over 50% of the U.S. population, which I thought was really high anyways. They're trying to push towards another 20% in 2.5 months. So they want to get to 70% by the end of 2018. They're targeting less dense suburban communities. There was some, here we go. Right now, wouldn't release a full list, but they're targeting Eugene, Oregon, Burlington, Vermont, and Cedar Rapids, Iowa. They're going to places where rideshare hasn't really taken off, but they think Uber Eats is gonna. I don't know. And then they talk about like doing focusing on like Red Lobster and everything. I'm like, is there a lot of Red Lobsters in Cedar Rapids, Iowa? I don't know. But again, they're pushing towards the IPO in 2019, and that's another thing to make them more popular. We have seen this ad on almost every, or it must be The Verge. We've had a couple of The Verge.
I think maybe you have been searching how do you get cheaper gas on sale.
I may have. There was something else. They say it's a 6 billion bookings run rate, growing over 2%. Yeah. I don't know. I don't do Uber Eats, so.
Yeah. It's just not worth it. At least not now, Mike. At least that's what you're finding. So.
I don't understand when I talk about Uber Eats and like Grubhub, how Grubhub's paying us so much more. Although maybe they're not paying us so much more, but everyone's tipping, so it feels like it's so much more. But at some point,
I'll tip you in the app.
Yeah, we need it.
Did you see that post talking about your 1 cent earlier, where somebody said that the writer said they were going to tip them huge, and then they tipped them 3 cents. It was the Grand Rapids.
Oh my God.
Amy brought up a good point that I think a lot of those might be typos. They might be drunk, and they hit 3, and they meant, I don't know, because you have to hit 300.
But you have to start by hitting other.
Yes.
You have to take a button before you can.
But it's probably a bigger button than the 3 or the 0.
No, but I'm just saying, if you're really drunk, just hit one of the first 3 options, right?
Yeah, but if I have a chance,
if you want to type in your own value, you have to click other first.
Right, but my point is if I can get $30 or $1, I guess I'll roll the dice that they're going to do the 30 and get 3 cents. I'll take the chance to get the 30 over the 3 cents any day. Personally,
all right, I call it disrespect.
Well, yours was specifically, I think, because
don't tip me at all,
right? Because you wouldn't take the 14 clowns,
right?
Earning periods are back to Monday. I don't see what the big deal was. I don't see what the big deal was.
We're also not full-time drivers.
True.
I don't see what the big deal was.
Thank you. What was the big deal?
I don't.
I didn't understand the freak out when they changed it, and now everyone's like, "Oh, they're changing it back." We got your feedback. What feedback?
Right. Maybe it's just not a big deal in our market. Maybe some markets it was bigger. A lot of people live. I mean, day to day, paycheck.
I know, but
even day to day, you got to remember to cash out at 3. What is it? It starts at 4, so 3:59 in the morning.
Yeah.
Opposed to if they give you till noon, you can wake up and then cash out.
Yeah. So now it's 4 a.m.
I don't know.
But I think I read that they changed it because people were saying it's easier for bookkeeping to do it on a weekly basis, opposed to it going.
Well, didn't it go Tuesday to Tuesday?
Yeah, but maybe because it goes Tuesday to Tuesday, but on your app, it restarts at 4 a.m. Monday for the week.
Oh,
Yeah, the
okay.
payment comes in Tuesday, but the week ends. They basically they need a day and a half for the EFT, right?
Okay.
Yeah, they changed it so your new week starts Monday at 4 a.m. and goes till Sunday at 3:59 a.m.
Okay.
Or Monday morning at 3:59 a.m. But payment wise, they changed it till noon on Tuesday. So there was that whole part of the beginning of the following week that was going on there. So maybe that's why.
Oh, that makes sense. I guess you're right. It could be a full-time thing because I'm just like, whatever.
Right. It don't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, and particularly after I start having the Uber debit card, I just do the free.
I never was able to get that to work. It didn't work in the app, and I never was able to get a card. I still can't.
Did you see on that Uber Pro, the cash back?
Yeah.
Is with the Uber debit card.
I know. I would use it if I could. I know it's not operator error. I've tried several times.
Sure.
Shut up. All right. Next up, we're going to do our tip time, and this is going to be sponsored next week. So be excited for that. One of the new things new drivers complain about is they're not busy. They're in a certain area. They're not busy. And the tip is make sure you download the Rider app for both. I know you use that quite a bit. It tells you not where all of them are, but it tells you where a good portion of the drivers are.
Right.
So if you're in that area and you're not getting requests, move out 3 miles. It's always funny to see that little cluster downtown. I'm like, there's like 40 cars down there. What are you doing? So that's our tip for new drivers is to definitely download the Rider app and avoid congregating in that area.
But even at the airport, people are like, oh, it's not busy. But it's not like Detroit Airport where there's
90 cars.
90 cars, but you still have a lot of airplanes coming in.
All the
Grand
time.
Rapids it's a small airport considering traffic wise what it has coming in.
Yeah. I mean, for goodness sakes, that we stop arrivals at like midnight.
Right.
And they don't start coming in till like 9:30 in the morning.
Right.
Wouldn't it be awesome if they ran 24 hours?
It would be.
That'd be great?
I know during the holiday season, typically
they'll run later.
They run a red eye.
Oh.
So that will come in.
A red eye.
Yeah.
One.
You got one shot, bro.
But taxis aren't sitting there at night then. So that kind of leaves maybe.
There has been a couple of times, but where I come out there a couple of weeks ago. For some reason, I was out late. I was out here at 2:30 in the morning, and there was two sitting by the airport.
You were sitting by the airport?
No. I just went home.
Oh.
But it was 2:30 in the morning, and there was two cars sitting at the airport. Like, what are you guys doing?
Well, we know we go in there, and we're like, there's like 6 cars in there, and we wait for 1 minute, and we get a ride. So clearly, they're rubbing each other's backs or something. I mean, or waiting for the long trip notification or something.
But apparently that's not. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust it anymore. And there's somebody that commented on our GR Rideshare's page. Or who was it? No, I think someone messaged me privately, but about that. He's like, I'm not getting it anymore. Something's not right. So I seem to, like I said, I would say 9 out of 10 times I get it, but that one time I don't. But I don't know. It went away in JFK or is it JFK Airport? Is that what it's called?
So.
There's LaGuardia and then JFK. Yeah. Apparently and maybe at LaGuardia too, they took that away.
Because people are cherry picking and waiting.
Someone in the Grand Rapids group does that too, which I don't see anything wrong with it, but that would drive me bonkers. I mean, it's bad enough.
Because what if you never get one? I know. You're sitting there for hours.
Well, he brags about his earnings online. So like last Saturday, he had almost $400. So he's doing something right.
At least that's what he was saying.
But he showed a picture of it. I mean,
sure.
All I can go on his picture on his screen said $382. I mean,
for how long?
I don't know. I mean, but that's his daily earnings though. It doesn't put your weekly there. So that's he earned that you can drive for 12 hours before you're booted. So he earned that at minimum 12 hours or no. maximum 12 hours.
Right.
Do you think part of it maybe is when they get the request? Because I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I had one where I sat and I heard him on the phone, and he said, "Where are you going?" To the passenger.
Ooh.
And they said where they were going. And then he said, "Okay, I'll see you in a minute." Sat there, ended the ride, and I got the request. And I went and picked them up, and they were like, "If you don't want to go, just tell me. Don't say, okay, you'll see me in a minute," and then cancel the ride.
I had one passenger, and it was really strange. I called and I never ask, but for some reason we had been doing. I think we had just been doing the long ride posts and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so I just, I was just asking him. So how long are you going? And he goes, "I'll tell you when you get here."
Because he's been burned before.
Yeah, and I think, why are people doing this? This is putting us in a bad light.
Again, I'm not a perfect angel. I've done it. This is where I do it. I never do it at the airport. But we're at the airport, right? We get these requests in Caledonia, and they're way out there. And I'll get it, and I deny it. It'll come again. Like, I'm the only one out there. It'll come again. I will ask, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to drive to Caledonia if you're going to the liquor store. So I have on occasion said, he'll be like, "I'm going to Grand Rapids." I'm like, "Cool, I'll come get you."
I used to do it. I haven't done it anymore, but I used to do it when I was downtown. I would get the request out to Grand Valley. I would call out and say, "Are you going to Grand Rapids? Because if you are, I will come out and get you and drive back." That's fine.
Honestly, I think that's fair. I mean, why would you drive all the way to Grand Valley to take him to an apartment? I know it's against terms of service. And
when I was still green, I had that one ride, right? And it was ridiculous, right? I was on downtown. And they called me out. It took me 25 minutes to drive out there, right? And I picked them up at the pizza place, right? Across from the GVSU on 48th Street. What was it called? Right in mid smack on 48th Street. And if you go the other way, you go right down the lane.
Doesn't matter
to Grand Valley.
Either way.
And they needed to go to the clock tower. I mean, literally, you can look down, you can see the clock tower.
Were they just drunk, or was it cold?
They were freshmen. They didn't know where it was. That was the story.
That's almost.
You waited 25 minutes for me to get out here.
You could have walked it.
I know.
That's almost as bad as that one I had. And I took it because it was a select, but was it Menace? Right there in the, I don't know. It's right there. The back of their building was literally, so Menace is right here. There's the street, another building, and then the back of their building was right there. Like, they were a stone's throw.
Did they not know where they were?
Oh, they did. She didn't want to walk carrying her food. So I drove out from Grand Rapids to take her.
How do you not? I've picked up like short rides when I've swiped and seen where it is. I always have a little snarkiness with after I see that. I'm like, "Oh, looks like you're not going very far." I don't drive long ways anymore, but it is so frustrating. I want to smack them and just
I don't go out there anymore now because of that.
Right.
Point 2/10 of a mile.
But then there's sometimes that actually was my saving grace last time I was driving, because I had a horrible night, right? But then I ended up having a ride out to Grand Valley, and it was a 2.2 ride out there. And I ended up catching 2 rides out there, and in 20 minutes, I made $25 out there.
Yeah, I mean, if it's surging.
Yeah.
But if it's not,
it
surges a lot out there. I just can't do it. You can't find anything out there anyways. I mean, unless you're out there regularly, knowing where all these apartments are, because the GPS doesn't work.
Or they tell you and you're like, "I don't know where that's at."
Yeah. Copper Beach, Copper this, Copper you. Shut up. All right. Questions for our Facebook group. We're almost wrapped up, guys. Thanks for hanging on.
Thanks for asking the questions during the.
I absolutely love that.
That was great. So more of those, guys. Angela was talking about spicing it up. That's what helps it. We kind of go through what's going on.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, just ask. If we're following along, we'll bring them up, and it's huge help for us as well. So thank you.
Yeah, I like. Well, we want to talk about what people want to know or want to talk about. I mean, we professionals, we look at the news and decide that this looks like a good story, but when people ask questions online, it's great.
Or maybe if they go pull up your guys' group Facebook and post the questions beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely,
that would be helpful too. Questions from most of these I think these are all from our Grand Rapids group. I'm going to pick up somebody this is not really a question, but I'm going to pick up someone from the airport, his rating is a 4.56. See ya. So I don't know if he means he's
not going to take him.
He's not going to take him.
Yeah.
You know, here's a tip for the airport.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to get a lot of low ratings at the airport, a lot of people travel around the country.
Right.
If you're in New York and Chicago, people are just rude there, so they'll rate you low all the time. If you're not handing them $100 bills, they're going to rate you a 1 star.
Right.
I've had somebody like close to 4 even. It was nothing. Fine.
Yeah, I had a 4.38.
Yeah.
Nicest lady.
Yeah.
And she couldn't figure out why her rating was low.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm nice. I don't really talk. And I'm like,
I always, when they're confused about the rating, I always say, have you ever taken a group ride and you requested it? And sometimes they'll say, yeah, I have a couple. I'm like, maybe one of your friends are kind of jerky.
yeah.
So
I have never denied anybody based on a rating.
I have, if it's at the Bob at 2 a.m. and you're a 4.2, nope. Nope. Not going to do it. That's just me. Hey, we're all different. That's what brings us great, talk to the table. But
there'll be there's lots of times I just don't feel like picking up at the Bob, but it's not because of the rating.
Well, okay, but another place that's easy to pick up, Hopcat. I won't pick up a 4.2 at Hopcat.
I'll do that, no problem.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Yeah, and then you have your problems.
Well, it's a puker. It's okay. It's good. I have leather seats. I'm good.
He's such a weirdo. He
I think he's the only one in the group that's gotten a puker.
No, I have 6
lately. Well, no,
lately.
Yeah.
I had one like 2 months ago. It was outside the car. Oh, it was a breakaway.
Okay.
Night. I had one outside the car.
Such a great night.
I know. We need some more of those. Next question: does anyone allow smoking in their car? If so, what is your policy?
No smoking, no e-cigarettes, no nothing.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, if I smoked, I would be like, yeah.
There was one time a guy took a whiff of his e-cigarette and I didn't throw him out. I just said, hey, please don't do that. And he put it away. That was fine.
Yeah, it's so rude when people just do it. What do you do about food and drink? Do you allow it? Depends on the person, depends on where they're going.
I do not allow any open alcohol because obviously it's a personal vehicle. People need to know that, though. People don't know that. So it's a personal vehicle. Yeah. Open alcohol is not allowed in your car. But no, otherwise I don't care.
You don't care?
No, as long as they don't make a mess.
Yeah, I will say that.
Me too.
Yeah, I will say that. Like, if you guys are going to eat in my car, can you make sure you clean it? Because I got another ride after you.
Yeah.
Vaping, I will let people vape. If they ask me, but my rule is they have to be by the window.
Yeah.
They can't be in the middle, and they have to roll the window down. And some are like, oh, it's cold out. I'm like, that's the only way you can vape.
Shut up. It's cold.
You can't smoke. There's no smoker. And you can tell because people get in my car and they're like, it smells good in here.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'm like, well, what kind of liquid are you using?
Yeah.
What does it smell like? I'm like, fruity? Okay, we're good. It goes with the car scent.
It doesn't, the vaping actually isn't that, it doesn't smell, it actually smells good.
Yeah.
Some of it. But I don't allow any of it. And the food thing, I mean, I wish I would be firm, but I kind of just let people do their thing. I just wish people would either ask. I want someone to say, is it okay if we eat? The people that just get in and crack I guess drinks aren't so bad, but you know when you get the eaters, it's 1:30, 1:45, they're grabbing hot dogs and a slice of pizza. Well, they're drunk. I mean, I have trouble eating when I'm sober, keeping stuff out of
Menace is the worst.
Is Menace the worst?
When you pick them up and they're eating their burrito in your car, I will find little sausage balls on the carpet in the back, or an egg, and I'm just like, pick it up real quick, throw it out. But Menace is the worst.
Yeah, I had one time I got a cleaning fee for food. This guy had a big, like a 32-ounce soda, and he didn't have a lid on it. And I don't know why I didn't let him in. It was not a bar run. He had was going to pick up his car that got repaired at Muffler Man. He dropped that son of a bitch right in the front, and it went all over. I got $40 for it, but I had to go to the car wash. I had to like drain it all out, and I mean, that was terrible. It didn't go everywhere, but it caught most of it. I think it was in my wife's van in the WeatherTech mats. It caught most of it in there.
At least it wasn't on your seat.
Yeah,
I had a
stickiness.
I had a friend who gave a ride to somebody. They had coffee. They didn't say that they spilt it. They had another driver who had a white dress on. She sat in the back and was like, sat up, and it left a huge coffee stain on her dress.
Bet she was pissed. Yeah, just tell me. Let's just be adults about it.
Yeah.
Rude. And last, and we all know this, a lot of these questions, all three of us at this table know what to do, but we're doing it to kind of give you guys a tip if you don't know. Is there a way to shut off Lyft from automatically adding rides while you have a PAX in the car? It would be nice to have this option decline. Yeah.
Sorry.
What was that?
That's my alarm clock.
Your alarm clock to get up?
Yeah.
Time to work.
Yep.
No, they don't have an option to decline it. What we recommend doing is, and it's a hard habit to get into, but on Lyft, when you accept a ride, before you start the ride, click last stop or go offline after this ride. Then you won't get any more requests and they won't add to your queue.
I heard, though, that if you cancel a ride that was added to you automatically, it doesn't affect your
That's
rating.
what I heard, too.
Does not.
I don't know if it's true.
Does not.
Well, we don't get to see cancel. Do you see cancellation
No.
ratings on Lyft anymore?
No, but you don't get any notifications that you've been canceling.
That's
a lot.
true.
So if you're on a ride and one gets added, before you end that ride, go in and cancel it.
Okay.
Because if you end the ride and then cancel that ride, you get dinged for it.
Okay. That's good to know.
But can you cancel the other ride while you have your own?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So let's say I'm giving you a ride.
Yeah.
Jason sends a request. It gets added. I see the little box next to yours. Before I cancel yours, as I pull up, I click on his real quick, click the X, or, hit the X.
See, I've never done
cancel,
it that way.
and then go back to yours and finish it.
I've always done it the other way. I'd end the ride, I immediately go in and cancel. But they haven't yelled at me for doing it that way.
I stopped getting emails from them.
Yeah, I did too.
For acceptance. So.
But it is annoying because why are you forcing me to do this ride? Acceptance rate isn't an issue. I'm an independent contractor. I should be able to know what ride I'm getting.
Right.
At least if it would pop up and tell you the information, you could be like, oh, okay, that one's right around the corner, or that's an XL or whatever.
Have any of you guys ever had a ride change on you as you're going to pick them up?
Yeah.
On
Lyft. Yep.
Here's another tip.
Doesn't happen for me anymore because I'm not on Lyft anymore. But yeah.
Well, Uber does for me too.
It never happened for an Uber. It happened on Lyft several times.
Pro tip for the airport: if you get a request and you're far away from the airport and you get a request at the airport, turn on last ride and you won't get repaired, because that's what happened to me just about a month ago. I was kind of far out. I was in Ada, but I was the closest car. Of course, another car came online or got close. They took that away from me. Now, Uber says they're giving me something that's equal what I would have made on that, but there's no way to prove that.
Right.
But if you turn on last ride, Lyft or Uber, you won't get repaired. You'll get that ride. So, anything else, gentlemen?
That's it.
All right. Well, thank you, Gabe, again for coming on. We really appreciate that.
Thanks, Colin.
You always give good feedback, especially when you're a full-time driver.
Yeah.
And our butts are getting out tomorrow.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping I get out of work
and
early.
Saturday too. I'm driving both nights.
You're doing Saturday too?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm going out with the wife.
No, well, I should do that, but
yeah, you should.
I gotta pay some bills.
All right.
Guys, thank you so much for watching online and making it more interesting there as well. And again, remember the giveaway. Remember that we are going to go ahead and like our podcast. Give us a rating.
Go to iTunes. Yes.
Right. I was going to say that. Go to iTunes, rate the podcast, whatever it is.
Subscribe, rate, and review.
Thank you. Subscribe, rate, and review. And we will give you something for free, I guess.
Jesper will rub your feet. All right. I'm signing off. I don't have a producer tonight, so I have to do it.